Are we here? David Toth, Artistic and Super. How we doing? Just gonna go live on Thingamajiggy. Dollard, how you doing? Welcome back. I'm doing well. It's bloody hot here. Oh, super nice one. I have come prepared this stream. I went and got a bunch of references of figures, of scenes. I'm going to start doing or like using reference from videos. .20 in the UK. Is that degrees? Or the time? Yeah, getting references from videos, because I would like to do more sort of things like this, like that interactions between people, and get better at doing that, because I've been bloody smashing the sketchbook stuff, like tons and tons and tons of like mostly terrible drawings, if I'm completely honest, but just like so much stuff, and I want to get better at figures. My focus has been mainly in figures recently in the sketchbook. So I kind of want to get a bit of that naturalistic kind of stuff. So yeah, we might just whip right into it. Get going with some quick sketches to warm up. What do we think? I've got some expressions here of what's his face as well, which would be cool. Do you have links for the references? Unfortunately, I'm not that. Hold on. Discord. I was going to say I'm not that organized, which is true. Let me whip them into Discord. Where do I put them? In general chit chat. Let's see. So these, yeah, it's a bit tricky because it was. Oh, it's not going to let me just drag and drop it, is it? Mother lover. Okay, hold on. Give me uno momento. Let's get a few of them on the desktop. A resources section would be good, definitely. Oh my god, I've been having a bloody hell of a time coding wise connecting to Discord. I got my because the course platform I'm making, for each course that I make, I want to have like a dedicated Discord channel, so it's like easy to find questions about specific lessons and blah 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 blah. But like I wrote something yesterday or the day before, like some accidental recursive thing where it like logged or it like connected to the Discord server like 1,000 times in a very short amount of time, and then I got my like token revoked. I was like, fuck. All right, now let me just drag and drop a whole bunch of these references in. of course you did that, didn't you? It'll be date modified. Boom, boom, and go. All right, so should be in the Discord shortly. And away we go. Alrighty. So let's get started with a warm-up, shall we? Let's move some of these out of the way. I should really do a new... Should I do a new one? Give me a bit of... Nah, fuck it. Let's just go straight into it. But yeah, that's what I've been spending most of my time on. Is this course platform this last week. Which has... been a ton of fun, if I'm honest. It's scratching a real itch. Just slowly seeing it come together. How's the audio, by the way? Do let me know. How we look at... Oh, yeah. All right, so I'm going to focus on finding the simple shapes. As always, right? Nothing different. The last two links are screenshots. Whoops. Hold on. Yep, that was a mistake. Oh well, you've got me as reference in there now. A feature, not a bug. Okay, let's get cracking. What are we doing? Let's come here. All right, so what I reckon I might focus on for this first little bit is finding, as I said before, the simple shapes, but seeing how simple I can get with them, and maybe even discovering a bit of likeness. We'll see. Not making any promises, because likeness is like a whole thing. Also, one thing to look for... Sla, how you doing? Julia, welcome. One thing to look for, particularly with like the head angle... Oh, here, let's get my head out of the way. Particularly with like the head angle, you'll notice how my shoulders... If my head's upright, the shoulders are going to be lower. But if my head's down, all right, those shoulders are going to cut into like the side of my face, right? APE, what's going on? Welcome back. Thank you again from last stream. Hopefully you got something out of the recording. The Jinx one was a tricky one, but I'm using a little bit of her flavor. Well, in this one that I'm working on. If this... Oh, hold on. If I go record. I'm using a little bit of her flavor on this one that I'm chipping away at. Just like that anger. And a little bit of the face shape. I did have an original sketch before I did the Jinx stuff, but I wanted a little bit more motion and emotion. The Bone Brew, welcome back. Do I have a course on or tips on rendering materials like gold, wood, metals, emerald, and jellos? I'd pay to see that. I don't, but it's something I'm considering. But on this stream today, I just kind of want to focus on the original plan. Sugar Beats, how we doing? She matches your hat. She kind of does, right? I know him, but not his name. Yeah, I know. I couldn't remember. Couldn't remember his name. Michelle Coronado, hi. I was in your demo at Lightbox and wanted to join one of your live streams. Ah, fantastic, Michelle. Thanks for popping in. Man, I'm counting the days until next year. I can't wait. John Malkovich. There we go. Now, what I'm thinking about here with this mouth is it's going to be poking out a tad. All right, same as like the whole muzzle of the face. So I want to kind of see if I can capture a bit of that. Adam, happy Monday. How you doing? All right, let's think here. So what is he looking at? He's looking at the watch. So let's add something that he's looking at, just briefly. All right, to give him some context. Sla Monday, where are you? I'm in the future, my friend. Also known as Australia. Ah, Sugar Beats, glad to hear it. Now, see, he's looking like here, so like off the screen. So I want to make sure, this is where we've got to take our understanding of form and blah, blah, blah. And move away from the reference. Because he's looking at a very particular spot here. Ours isn't exactly the same. So we've got to figure out kind of how to reverse engineer that eye direction based on the watch here in this case. And this is such a good little exercise to do, just like tweaking it ever so slightly. It doesn't feel like you're going too far out of your comfort zone, particularly just for a little warm up. Welcome to the world of tomorrow. Yeah, Sugar Bees is cool to get inspired by other artists' processes in particular, not even necessarily just the final result. Now, one thing we want to take note of is, just like we're whipping out the box, I saw Sam, what's his face? Sam Yang. He doesn't enjoy the box for the head, right? I don't blame him. I understand it. There's merits to why you might not like that. But it's kind of a muchness with a box or a cylinder, because I can put lines on here to kind of represent it, right? But what I'm trying to convey here is that his hair is going to be one way to show direction. Okay, we're going to see more of this side of the hair than this side. All right, so this is going to help us with the illusion. John Malkovich, time traveler. The box is okay. Yeah, so I think it's like each shooter. I think he's just dicking around as well. I don't think he's like full serious about it. I mean, if it's good enough for Mr. Kim Jong-gi, it's bloody good enough for me, right? Okay. So if we'd imagine, I don't know, like a bit of sticky tape on the cylinder, right? And this is the center line. Okay, imagine that sticky tape wrapping around at equal, okay. This is what I'm trying to say. If we're looking at the cylinder head on, right? Line smack bang down in the middle. Imagine that a bit of sticky tape is wrapping around it. This is us looking at it directly head on. And these gaps between here are equal, right? What we've got to take into account when we're rotating this cylinder is where that other sticky tape is going to be on the other side of the cylinder. Now, this sticky tape is the metaphor for the hair, and it's got volume. So if this stuck out, right, and it was more of like a tube, then we would see maybe a little bit of this poke out. But this is what's going to have that illusion of the head turning, right? Less here, more here. Okay? And this is for me, this is me just reiterating stuff. This isn't a lesson per se. This is just like, yeah, this is what I'm thinking about and trying to think out loud. And even the ear, you're going to see less of the ear, and the ear is going to turn differently than this ear. Cylinder is better in my opinion. Yeah, I think it's depends on your what you're drawing. Like if a head is more boxy, right, I'm gonna feel like a box is gonna be more appropriate, you know? Yeah, maybe that analogy was a bit shit. So sorry. You see less here and more here. I see sugar beets. All right, so now he's looking at the watch. We could even squeeze a tad more likeness out of it with the corners of the mouth. All right, because that's what I'm seeing on his mouth is even here, he's got like a little, like, that kind of thing. Am I ever tracing models to get proportions? No. I'm not, only because I'm not learning too much that way. Like, I'm not against it. Like, I don't care, you do what you want. But for me personally, I'd rather figure out how to do it without tracing, if that makes sense. I also learned a new what's the word? Term, technique. I don't know if you guys are familiar with like really like watching Kim Jong-gi super closely, right? But you'll notice sometimes he'll do these like little like bap, 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 just like around. But they're oftentimes like suggesting form, right? This just makes him look like he's got bloody moles all over his face, but you get what I'm saying. Like if, for example, I'm drawing, I don't know, like the knuckles here, it's just like, it's equivalent to kind of like whisper lines, but I think it was Jim Lee. He called them dits and dats. I don't know if that rings true for anyone, if that makes sense. Or if that's something that's like a usual thing. But you can see it in like even in like comic work. All right, cool. Saga. Instagram, can you just fix this? Saga Maurya. How you doing? Let's try this one. Let's try the angry one. Okay. Still looking for those simple shapes. The nose angle is going to be different. The brows are going to be different. The mouth is going to be very, very different. It's going to be more chin. And the shoulders as well, even like pumping the shoulders up because the head's down and he's like angry. Okay, adding the hair. Let's get the top of the head going. Now, one thing with like anger, oftentimes the nose is going to go up. All right, so I really want to push that. fan of the eyes, we will change. Simple shapes, simple shapes. The mantra. But better sometimes. I want to see more of the whites of the eyes when people are angry. Not always. Really depends on the character. Let's add the hair. Still too many lines, I think, because the goal of this warm-up was to really simplify stuff. Thank you, Sugar Beads. Let's knock him back. Let's knock him back. There you go. Yep. Yeah, since my America trip, I didn't realize how many sayings there are that are not usual. This is a tricky little expression, because he's like that. Just little warm-ups. Let's just knock it out, see how we go. Evan, how you doing? You interviewed him, nice. welcome. Show some direction of the hair. Not super happy with this one, if I'm honest. I've trained so much on like the 3/4 view that the front on heads are getting tricky. Get a bit of the hands in there. One thing with the hands that I've been learning, or like reiterating recently. Soul, how you doing? Is like they kind of curve, like when you close, like the hair, like how do I explain this? The fingers aren't like straight. That's like a very unnatural way to have your hand. So if like when they bend, you notice how my pinky kind of like goes inwards, so they're kind of like going like converging in a way. Same with the thumb, where you could get caught up accidentally like straightening them all out, which I do if I'm trying to do them from imagination. So I'm trying to rectify that. I don't know, sugar beets. We'll see. Doing good. You're sketching while watching the stream. Nice one. So I want to make sure that this pinky finger kind of wraps down. Let's see if we can tackle the other hand. He doesn't look frustrated enough. Can we like make eyebrows down, 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 down? I think the eyes have got to be more manic. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, Sugar Beats. In 1920s illustrations, they're like, I think I do at least. They're quite flowy. Or we might be thinking about different things. This is a good little exercise, trying to simplify the shapes as best you can while keeping the expression readable. I think the knuckles, they should be like out more, but that's fine. Do a bit of the old crossover, get some T-lines happening. I don't really get anxious, if I'm honest. I mean, at the end of the day, they're all just people. So I just take them, or any, like, whatever, just at that. John Ford, how you doing? Which takes a lot of the pressure off. I wonder. I'm spending way too long on this little one. Let's get done with this one and let's move on. Matt, happy Monday, Arvo from New Zealand. How you doing, Matt? Happy Monday, Arvo from Australia. Matt. Okay, moving on. Thanks, Adam. Yeah, no, I do enjoy them. Okay, oh, bloody wrong layer. Get out of here. Okay. Let's see. Look at this dude. Yeah, let's do like a, what's the word? A vignette for a fancy word. So just sort of something about like here. Honey, how did you learn anatomy? I'm still learning it, if I'm honest. I like tackling stuff from different angles and different ways of learning. So I'll watch videos, I'll read books, I'll just look at photos. I've even started to, in particular, I don't know if I can't remember if I mentioned this last stream. Maybe not. But like the knee, for example, right? We're looking at the profile of like the kneecap. Okay. You got your tibia, you got your fibula here, I think. I don't even know the names of them. I just know roundabout what they should look like. Okay. That whole joint there confuses the living shit out of me. It still does. All right, so particularly when understanding it in different angles, right? So if we're trying to and like extensions and flexions and that kind of thing. So if we were to draw the knee like straight on, as if someone's standing up. Okay, just the bones, let's say. So you got the kneecap, this here. Right, this whole thing changes. It's just very, it's like it's very complex. What I'm trying to say is to better understand the knee joint, I look at it from different angles. I go and I try and find like videos of the knee working, or like just the knee bones. How do the bones work? Now, Super brings up a very good point. The only reason, Super, that I would recommend, or why I'm going like deeper into the knee joint, is because it is quite superficial, the knee, and it can, like the kneecap in particular, and this whole section. It was actually that like TB Choi's way that she simplifies stuff really put me on a path to like figure out how she got to that place. It's one thing, like, yeah, I can copy the simplification and get it to work for me, but this is just me personally. I like to like tackle it at different angles, but this isn't like beginner. This is just me at the moment, and this is just like top of mind. So then I'll look at videos of how this works, okay, how the kneecap works. But then like I've even gone to the like going on YouTube and like looking at like cadavers and stuff, and they'll actually like show you it working, because it's all well and good doing it in theory and like getting 3D models and that kind of stuff. You don't have to go this far, definitely not. But I just get really interested in it and figuring out, okay, where do the bones attach, like the muscles attach? I don't really care about why they attach. I care about why they attach, like to make it look realistic or to make it look believable. That's the only thing. All right. Superficial, as in surface detail. Going deeper will just expand your understanding of the anatomy works, which is always a bonus. Yeah, 1000% Super. But what you often see is like this side of the knee, the kneecap, the shin and that kind of stuff. That's always going to be, I mean, you could even see it on yourself. But no, definitely. Like, I don't care really like about all the little meniscus and shit behind here, right? All the little this and that and this and that. But I do care about how or why, and this is anatomy in particular. Like if you're looking to get into anatomy, I do wonder if you're talking about, because I put at the top of all of this is simple shapes. I think every bloody stream I've mentioned this is simple shapes. If you don't understand simple shapes to begin with, you can't, well, you can't, like, it's not like you can't, it's going to be very difficult to then put them together in your mind while you're studying to then further understand different shapes, right? That's first. Okay, I'm just talking about me at the moment, what I'm going through. I want to then start to understand the large forms, okay? So the knee comes back here, and then you've got your quads muscles and all that kind of stuff, blah, blah, blah. And then you take it a step further, going deeper into understanding that this, what I found fascinating about the knee is that everything, like if you extend your knee, or like you extend your lower leg, right, out, all of that is connected to the patella, like your kneecap. And it's just all the muscles, like the quad muscles and everything, is all just connected to that patella. All right. Anyway, I'm going way too deep into it. Sorry, it's top of mind. But yeah, I would simple shapes first, but then just get curious. I think like it's like understanding. You're just giving yourself more tools and more advanced tools, if that makes sense. Which I'm in the process of doing myself. Ines, hi Ben, do you ever take your own references, like photograph people in the street? I don't actually, but I should start doing that. Yeah, drawing from life is great. Even yourself, like I think even looking or just being aware of stuff. Like even understanding the, like for the leg, from the leg, for example. Like, let's say we've got like the leg. There's like different rhythms to the leg and blah, 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 okay? But even just understanding that on some people, that this muscle, or this muscle is in most people lower than this quad muscle up here. And then this is going to be all the tendons and blah, 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 blah. So when you see someone that's quite muscular flex their knee, you'll see this kind of teardrop shape. But then that gives you like an angle. Right? So then you can simplify. And that's where this outer shape can come from. And then this gets kind of stopped by the bone and the cartilage, and this is why I'm interested in understanding where the kneecap is and what it's doing, because this can inform a lot of stuff. All right, and then your calf, etc., etc. This isn't an anatomy lesson. This is just on the top of my mind right now because I'm diving deep. Right, but just observing it in real life on people, get like used to doing that. If you want to get better while you're away from your drawing table or iPad or whatever, just start looking. Start observing yourself, like when you're in the mirror, like the ulnar and the elbow, like how does that interact with each other, like all that kind of stuff. That is like it's like with work, it's like a supplement. And I don't know, I find this stuff fun. I don't know about you guys. I think it's bloody good fun. Tyler, how you doing? Simple shapes and rotate them. Easier said than done, but yes. Clemador, how you doing? Alex Guerra, I remember learning from Michael Hampton of thinking of anatomy as shapes you can twist to make different characters and body types out of. Think like a designer. Yeah, well, that comes then another part of it is understanding, so then you can break the rules to whatever which way that you want, you know? And that's a part of this stylization stuff. It's a ton of fun because I'm breaking the rules because I've got understanding of them in the first place, particularly of just form, really. Matt, his idea of part, position, perspective is also super helpful for me. Yeah. Yeah, Steve Hampton is bloody fantastic. One of my favorites. I still get, But there's things that like there's like habits I'm trying to break. Like for example, if I'm trying to think through this character, okay, and like you got the rib cage, like a very rudimentary kind of rib cage, right? I'll always tend to put this arm over this side, particularly in the 3/4, too far out here. It doesn't make sense. It'll actually be tucked behind if we're trying to understand what's going on. You know what I mean? So I'm always trying to break the habits, and that's why like it's like this never stops. In a good way. Like you're always trying to learn. Well, I am at least. Always trying to pick up new things. What on earth? Oh, opacity. There we go. All right, let's continue. And sometimes even, particularly with the hands, I learnt this one from Diego Lucha. I'm not sure how to say his last name. Lana, welcome back. Is to draw the limb, like the hands first, and then connect them, which is quite helpful. Have to catch up on the drawing. Yeah, no, you're fine. You're not too late. We're still semi in warm-up land-ish. I want to try and find... Really sketchy to begin with. Not too concerned at all about much, really. Just trying to get that feeling of the three-dimensional form. Serratus is like a bear with its claw giving you a hug. That's great. That's such a good one. Okay. Cool. knock it back. Let's think about our lines a little bit more, think about our perspective. Okay. Glauco, how you doing? Apologies if I butchered your name. Now, even with all of these little things, right? This little scarf thing. Anything. I want to think about overlaps. That's been a huge thing, in particular with the traditional stuff. Thinking about how things overlap, why they overlap. And then you can decide how much of that you want. Do you want it to feel more 2D or do you want it to feel more 3D? So your art feels fresh yet familiar at the same time. Like I've seen it before and at the same time feels original. So that's very kind of you. That's a very cool compliment. Thank you. Greetings from Ukraine. Dmitry, welcome. But what if you flip the canvas and it looks bad? You have a pang of just anger and frustration. And then you remember it's just a drawing. And then you flip it back and forth again. And you start to... It's usually almost always, particularly with like faces, right? If I'm flipping, it's like the eye placement. That's when you fall back on your understanding of form. That's when you can say, okay, how is everything meant to sit in the sockets? Where's the sphere of the eyes? Do they go back in perspective how they're meant to? All right, so if this was, it's the equivalent, this is exceptionally simplified, but just stay with me. If we had this like plane here, and we wanted to make it look like that these dots were aligned with one another on like a flat plane, right? It's not, this isn't like an analogy for the eyes, but it's kind of what happens when, or how I think of fixing stuff when I flip the canvas, okay? You could be in the details here for so long, just like so like pixel level details, just getting it right, okay? But unfortunately, you've done all the details, but it's like off. But you've been looking at it for so long. This is very easy to see that it's off because it's a simple plane with two dots on it. But then you flip it and you're like, oh shit, okay. How do we fix that? Well, we got to bring it back into perspective, knock it back, reverse engineer how we're positioning things, and that's the same with this, but in 3D. Right? If this eye was too high up, I would knock it back. It just gives you a different perspective, you know. Sometimes for me it's the mouth or the bottom of the face. Yes, the bottom of the face for me. I'll often pop the jaw way too far forward. Right, so it's going to make them look like this, and it just doesn't make any sense. So now I'm just going down the simple shapes that I've created and trying to find again those overlaps. Sometimes I get to flip into it's too late. Yep. Yeah, I'm trying to kind of iron out all the details of these folds because there's a ton of them, right? There's all these tiny little things going on in there. Let's see if we can just simplify it to a few. Ryan Wu, Will you consider doing traditional drawing live someday? Definitely. Definitely. When I'm more comfortable with it? Definitely. The traditional stuff is just for me at the moment. I need to have a drum live stream, yeah. That would be fun. But I don't think people are joining the live stream to listen to me drum. Or even 5 minutes of drumming. Maybe eventually it can be something at the end of the streams. Damien, welcome. McKillet, appreciate ya. 5 minutes of drumming is longer than you think. Yeah, 5 minutes is a very long time, depending on the song. Yeah, true, sugar beats. Well, maybe that's to wake him up. Who knows? Well, maybe it's like, yeah, get the blood flowing. We'll start with a bit of a drum session. Have you ever gotten art block? Yeah, I guess. I don't know if it was like debilitating art block, but there's times where I don't feel like doing stuff. Damien, Ben, I was wondering how long did it take you to find your art style? I'm still finding it. I say that all the time when people ask about style. I'm still finding it. Yeah. Yeah, I like how no one said yes. But yeah, exactly. See, that's what I'm saying, sugar beats. No one gives a shit about my drumming. I don't know. I'm fine with keeping it to myself though. Maybe if I draw a drummer, like if I do another like Blink-182 thing, then we can do like a little cameo. I don't know. I'm not good enough. I say this, but I actually don't want to. Well, I know they didn't say no. That's true. Ryan Wood today. The song is getting shorter. Sadly, yeah. There's no music in the background. I thought I'd let people do their own music. I listen to my own music. Everyone's happy, hopefully. Must be already asked, but for how long are you doing this, Sla? I'll go for another maybe like hour and a half. Something like that. Is this work for a project, or you just get, this is just practice? This is just hanging out, practicing, you know? This is just the Monday stream. Nothing too serious. Another 5 hours. If I was a cartoon, I'd like to be friends with that cartoon. We could go to the market together. Any advice on drawing fat characters? I would still look for the bony landmarks, because like even the things like the knees and stuff, you're gonna see still, depending. But I'd look first for the bony landmarks, and then I'll get a bunch of reference to see, depending on how rotund you're looking to go with your character. Cool. All right, we've been noodling with this guy for too long. As I keep going. Okay. Next one. Ryan Wu, maybe style comes through whenever the pen is touching the paper and it's ever changing according to your mood. Ish. I think it's changing according to what I'm interested in, what influences I've spent time actually studying. Stuff like that, I think, contribute to your style. All right. Next. What do we think? Let's try this little interaction here with these two. He's talking to her. So we're going to go for 2 characters get them in perspective. Wish us luck. Nice one, Super. Catch you later. Thanks for popping in. Appreciate it, Damien. What's his name? Steve. Potentially. Ines, I look for something that grabs me to begin with. What do I like about their work? Because I might like certain... Whoa. Ah. Let's just crop this out. I might like certain things about an artist, but I might not like things about the artist as well, like the work. So it really, really depends. But then I would try and pinpoint that, and then try and maybe do a few studies and figure out what it is that I like about them. Do some studies on that, whether it be line work, color, whatever. Then try very soon after that, translate that onto a character of my own. All right. So you're not just copying, it's then utilizing what you've learnt in context of something else, if that makes sense. Okay, let's take a look at our mate here. Now, I'm not going to do it like exactly. We're going to stylize, okay? But because we've got an understanding of the horizon, all right, I'm going to use that kind of as the guide-ish. Catch you later, Damien. Well done, Sugar Beats. Good cup of tea. Now, you might be tempted, say, with this arm here, to draw it long here and then have the art, but it's foreshortened slightly. So you want to take that into account, and maybe even foreshortened even more to sell that illusion of perspective. Our brains are our very own blender. Backpack. So I'm just going to get the simple idea in. Now, bike. Perspective. Here. Wheel. You might be tempted again to think about, okay, the wheel's going to be this far apart because that makes sense because it's a bike. But if you look at it, how close they are. Just all because of foreshortening. Alright, so I'm just getting a sketch down first. And then we can go into stylizing it and making it a little bit more interesting as we go. And this again is a real interest of mine, is to understand how to do these characters in from imagination eventually. But the first step to get stuff feeling right from imagination is to get it feeling right from reference. Okay, so he's there. Where am I going to add? Let's scale the reference a little bit down. And this was taken from, I think it was like Walk 4K or something like that. Sometimes I'll throw that on in the background on YouTube. It's just like people going for walks wherever in 4K. So it's like kind of like you're there. Lana from Imagine. Yeah, that's the goal. That's what we can train to do. So if we look at this here, right, we look at him. He's quite a bit taller than this lady. Okay, so if he was talking to someone the same height as him, because we're kind of like closer to the horizon line, they would be somewhere closer to like this. All right, similar height, he's going to be talking there. But if we grab the, I don't know, around thereabouts kind of height, she's going to be looking up, he's going to be looking down. But this is tricky because it's in perspective. So she's not going to stop here with her legs unless she's like a tiny lady. Well, that wouldn't even make any sense. She would be a lot lower down. So I'm just thinking out loud as well. So forgiveness, please. All right, leg. We want to make sure that we're on the same plane. All right, so his feet, they're not super far away, but they're far away enough to where it kind of makes a difference. We're not looking super on top of them. Again, the horizon line is about here. She's a little bit shorter here in my drawing, but I'm fine with that. And we'll knock it back. And then have a play around with stylizing some of the shapes. Now we're going to be looking on top because this is a horizon or the eye line. We're going to be looking on top of everything on the ground. So you've got the little cone here. I don't think we need to have that, but that's a good little indicator. And people in the background, etc., etc. All right, so let's knock it back. We got our base, semi-perspective-ish in place. It's hard with the reference, but yeah, maybe one day, yeah, we'll see. But it's all principles, right? It's all the similar sort of principles that I'm talking about. It's just getting that, whatever it's called, practice in to like solidify those ideas. Because we know in real life, if something was off in perspective, we'd be like, what am I even looking at? But then it's just trying to get that working with our drawings. Yeah, just making up any old character doesn't really matter. Not trying to get the age or anything. This is really just an exercise in perspective and seeing if we can get something feeling like a cohesive little scene. Again, the overlapping lines, that's going to be super important. Just looking at how, so this is a really big jacket. I think this is in New York. New York. So we want to make sure we give that jacket the puffiness that it deserves. But then again, this arm is going to be foreshortened down. All right, so this here is not going to equal the length. It doesn't anyway, really. Like, it kind of is like, but you know what I mean. It's not going to be as if the arm was facing us. It's going to be going back in space like a cylinder. Instead of drawing the cylinder, though, we're going to make the indications using the details to be our wrapping lines. Even the way that this crease wraps, that's our indication of that cylinder, right? Or the beginning of the lower arm cylinder. But we don't have to draw all that. Can if you want, for like study times. Completely up to you. VC Jules, thank you so much. Thanks for popping in. Alright, backpack. And it's quite good that it's like low resolution as well, because I'm not getting caught up in the details of the reference. I'm trying to figure out. Okay, let's make a backpack just from our imagination-ish. Okay. A little bit of the details here, but again, always going back into perspective. This is where, again, stuff like the box. I wouldn't, if I want this zip to be, imagining if we're looking at the bag front on, all right, you got the backpack. If you want that zip to be going straight across, we've got to make sure that that goes back in space. If we just did that straight across here, that breaks the illusion a little bit. It might look like it's open, which is something cool we could do. All right, maybe he's got like a water bottle or something in there. But I want to make those decisions not by accident. All right, so this line is going back to that horizon line. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm trying to just reiterate stuff to myself as well. So yeah, this is more of a sketchy stream than usual, but I like changing it up a little bit, you know. Okay, let's figure out. How these wheels are going to connect. And now we're getting into like a little bit of tricky territory, because I'm not 100% going with this reference. I just want to look at how it's constructed. And then draw. And then go back and forth. Okay, so that comes to about here maybe. Romutong Art, how you doing? Welcome. Are you using anything to figure out where things go, like arms or forearms, or you're just eyeballing everything? Pretty much just, well, I'm eyeballing everything, but what I'm figuring out is where things would go based on how the body is and how it's connected, right? I'm not going to, and where the bike, for example, is sitting. The bike's here sitting on this plane, and I'm not going to have him reaching up here, so I'm not going to have the hand up here, right? That's pretty, you can understand that. But that's coming into the equation of like, all right, what is he interacting with? His hand's going to be about here. Okay, so then I've got his shoulder and his head around here. These two have to connect eventually, unless you're doing some zombie stuff, you know? Right? But they've got to connect somehow. And then it's figuring out, okay, how do they connect? Well, this bike handle is going to be forward of him. So he's going to be a little bit forward, as we can see in the reference with his hand. So this is going to be going back in space. So then we've got to foreshorten this arm and elbow to get to the hand. So it's kind of like, where do I want stuff? Why is it there? Like, in what context? And then how do I get it there in this scenario with the hand in particular, if that makes any sense at all. Res, there is joy in Zen in fully rendered. There is also joy in Zen in roughness. How you doing, Res? Very true. See, I've got one that I'm working on now that's like, I'm going to render town, but I get just as much fun as doing this stuff. All right, so I'm not being too pedantic with the details. We can loosey-goose it a tad. We got the seat here. Now, how does that seat connect? It's just one pin going straight down. Then let's say that's where, approximately, where this pin of the thingy-majig is going to go. Very incorrect, but that's fine. I don't care. Prashan, welcome. We're out of coffee. All right, so thinking about perspective. Coming down here. All the little details, not being too finicky with it. But just enough to give the impression of it, you know. Oh, Prashan, you did. Oh, awesome. Looking forward to seeing what you and the team did. All right, this doesn't make logical sense, so I'm just going to tweak it a tad. Doodling, happy to be here. Great to have you, Rez. I don't know, you're judging it. Have you heard of Sylvain Comet? Every time I see someone draw a bike, I think of him. No, I haven't. Did you have fun with the challenge, Prashan? Okay. He's standing. Duh. But he's standing on the ground. All right, we've got that feeling-ish. Just the impression of it. So then we can start focusing on the lady. Okay, let's make sure that these feet feel like they're on the ground. Now, one thing that would break the illusion so quick is if you had the feet like this, because it's not going back into perspective unless she's actually doing something with her foot. My God, I did the thumb on the wrong side. How embarrassing. He's a French animator. Sylvain. It does ring a bell. Techrem finished Arcane yesterday. I haven't finished it. If I'm completely honest, I haven't got past the second episode. For no other reason than just time. Now I want to take some initiative here and not do exactly what her hand's doing here. Maybe I have the hand on top of the boxes. You know, just little things like this, particularly if you're not used to doing things from imagination, tiny little things to get out of the comfort zone of following the reference is great. Now the ear, we've got to take into account that we're looking behind. And even little things like this, like the in front and behind. The shoulder here. This collar is behind that, so you put a little line there. She's got a little headband going on. Not going to see much of the face at all, and that's fine. We got that indication. Maybe she's explaining something. And this is a mind bender as well, because you've got to try and find how stuff fits together. Does this make sense? Alright, so if there's something on the floor, that would have to go in perspective. Cool. So look, from a little sketch practice today, bit of line work, you know. Not terrible. I would do some things different here with the bike guy. I might even bring him just like a tad closer, and then have him looking back. If I was going to redo this, have him looking back a little bit further, or I'd bring him a bit closer and have some sort of overlap between them, so he's actually looking at what she's doing, you know. So that's one thing I'd do a little bit differently. Or maybe she, like, maybe she's flirting with him a bit. So then she's like, oh my God. I don't know. Is that flirting? I've got no idea. But you know what I mean? So there's some sort of interaction. Or he's an old friend. All right, so we can very quickly start to... Oh my God. Yeah, I don't know. I'm assuming that's how people flirt. But then you can start to create a story here. Instead of some rando on the street asking about whatever he's asking about, it's like, oh, hello. You made him less grumpy than the picture. Yeah, I wanted to. Wanted to make him, I don't know, a little bit like just completely different, really. David, do you think it's worth to start an art-related career by this time? 1,000%. Fucking hope so. That's what I'm doing. Sla, do you read any comics or graphic novels? No, not really. Not particularly. Not against them. I would love to do more of that kind of stuff. I do have to. Like, just to get some... I don't know. What's the word? Inspiration probably is the word. But yeah, the goal is to eventually get this all from imagination. They're going to get married, or he's asking for directions. One of the two. But she's shooting a shot. I've been like, hold on. Are you hungry? I've got 30 pizzas here. You must have been biking for so long. You must have worked up an appetite. And then he's like, aren't those pizzas like 4 people? Like, are they ordered already? She's like, yeah, but that's fine. I won't tell anyone. And then he's like, hold on. That's a bit weird. You're starting the relationship off on a lie to your customers. She's like, yeah, it's fine. He's like, catch you later, lady. And then that was that. Moral of the story, always deliver your pizzas. Yeah, and then you could take this and do all the line work and do some more fun stuff. But yes, it was a good little practice on perspective, on story, I guess. No, not really at all. This needs to be greenlit on Netflix. I know, right? It'll be very short. It's a short story. We'll call it red flags. And it's just like all the situations where you shouldn't have gotten into that relationship, but you did. Because at some stage she's going to be giving your pizza to someone else. It's just this time it was you. All right, that's enough of that. That's it. It's no, it's fine. Delivery turned out to be a prank call. It's fine. That's it. Cool, guys. Well, look, I had some fun. It was a little bit more line work heavy this stream, which is cool. I want to be well rounded, change it up a little bit, really get my understanding of form, or give my understanding of form a workout. Before I go, you know the drill. I see you guys have already started to click off. I see ya, and I appreciate it. It is what it is. But anyway, couple of plugs. Discord. I'm building a course at the moment on values in light, so you can sort of start to figure out how to do this kind of stuff, all the principles. That it's like a primer on value and light. It's called Light Bulb Moments. It's not out yet, but if you join the Discord, you'll be able to get early access to the content under course updates. All right. I'm also building the course platform from scratch as well. So, because I want to display my work and my teachings in a very specific way, and I'll show you where it's at this moment. Let's see if we can get the development server cranking. All right, so this is, and it's everything of mine from now on is going to be all up when this launches. is going to be on beneblin.com. All right. So light bulb moments. So it's going to be, and the loading is going to be fixed. This is just in development at the moment. So just hold your horses. All right. So I want, when I learn stuff, I like learning with reading and video and sort of some context. So I really want, I don't know, this is somewhat unnecessary, but not. I want custom stuff for myself, so I'm building it. So there's going to be videos, and it's broken up into sections. So there's going to be the principles. So one of the problems that I've had is being able to go back and pinpoint certain things that I want to work on within video, just like video only courses. So I want to give you guys an opportunity to go back, check out things like the principles, the high level ideas about how I think about light and the biggest things that make sense to me, that have given me the biggest aha moments. But also there's going to be practice and demos. So it's not just going to be spheres and cylinders. It's going to be stylized stuff, how to translate the principles into the practice, if that makes sense. And then you're going to have like the downloads and glossary and blah, blah, blah. And there is a private Discord channel. There's a little bit of a bug with it at the moment. There's going to be a private Discord channel for each individual course that I put out as well. So you can get specific questions answered or ask specific questions to the community through here. So that's my only plug. You know where all my other links are. Something I'm working on. I can't wait to get it out. It's going to be sick. So yeah, get some, if you want to come through and check it out and give us some feedback, that'll be awesome. See, it's full of like all these to-do things and blah, 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 blah. So sign up to the Discord, check it out. If you want my other stuff, links in the description. You know where it is. And I'm going to call that a stream. Catch you later, Lana. Andrea, Ben, what's the best way to start selling art as a traditional illustration student? Thank you. I don't know. I've not done that myself. I'm not a a traditional illustrator that has sold his art from as a student. I would start posting stuff if you haven't already, Andrea. I would start posting stuff online, because it's a lot of that is marketing. If no one knows about you or your work, if people don't know it exists, there's no way that they're going to buy it. So I would start putting your stuff out there if it isn't already. Or Lana, so when I tried to put my email in to unlock it, the locked thing, it didn't work. Is it not supposed to at the moment? It should. Lana, give it another shot. And this is the feedback that I want, right? Because I'm on development mode at the moment. I'll be pushing updates to the app. If there's login issues, let me know, because I've probably changed something and broken something else. So it's very in beta or alpha at the moment. But yeah. Sly looks interesting. Yeah, it's been a ton of fun. It's been a ton of fun. Ines, this is looking great. Can't wait. Appreciate you, Ines. Prashan, thanks for the stream. Beautiful work. Appreciate you, Prashan. I'll try again. There's 3 options, but it won't from Discord. So I'll try it again. Interesting. Let's see if we can quickly troubleshoot this. So if you come here into this link, we fixed loading. We haven't pushed it yet, but there's some issues with the loading. But this is the thing. I'm doing it in. I'm putting it out there already before it's kind of ready, which is fine. I don't know what's happening here. Here we go. Load. But yeah, this is alpha software. This is beta software. It's what it's like. Painful at times. But the servers are in America as well, I think, or like where they're doing it from. So that is going to be better for most of you guys instead of me over here in Australia. So if you go and log in, no, we'll open the other one. Hold on. There should be something like this. Log in. All right, just log in and give that a shot. Continue with Discord. If you do that, there was a bug where it would throw you, it would like redirect you to localhost. Francis is coming over tomorrow and we're going to debug that because that's the whole point of having the Discord connected. And it was doing my head in. So we'll figure it out. It's going to be so cool. I can't wait to get it to a point where it's like really, really cool. We'll be looking back at these streams and like, remember when it was first launched and it was buggy as shit. Okay, so I couldn't log in from Discord, but I'll try it again maybe after tomorrow. Yeah, so what does it say, Lana? Sorry guys, on stream. I'm just very interested in like what's wrong with it. Andrea, what is the best platform for promotion? Whatever you can consistently do. Right? Already have an Insta? Go with that. And then start exploring things, but it's got to be a consistency kind of thing. But I'm not talking about like every single day. Something that you enjoy doing as well, ideally. APE, will there be a tutorial on how to use the mod for Photoshop? Eventually, that's something on the plans as well. Catch you later, Innes. Appreciate you, Ryan. It says either Ben wants to share. I can share screenshot in the Discord as well if it doesn't work. Perfect. Share it in the Discord because that's where I'd like the feedback. So it's all in one spot. That'd be awesome. All right. I won't bore you guys any longer on stream. Appreciate the feedback, Alana. And I will catch you guys same time next week. 10:45 a.m. Monday, Australian Central Daylight Time. All right. With that, have a great rest of your week. And I'll catch you in the next one. Toodaloo.